have a tendency to wash my hands during a break and then to not dry them. So I walk in here and Roger puts his hand out and I'm like, okay, well, they're wet. He goes, that doesn't matter as long as they're clean. So we're like now, not blood brothers, but I guess, you know, we've shared the watery hands. It's a secret cult, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm being really...
Donald Trump started this, actually. He is the most obsessive hand washer of all time. But I guess when you shake millions of hands running for president, you got to do that or you'd constantly have a cold. He's adamant about it.
Getting serious here, you just got here. You just walked in off the airplane, so we haven't even talked yet. What on earth is going on? Terror attacks? The New York Times won't say it's a terror attack. They call it a truck attack. Antifa says they're going to start overthrowing the government in full-page ads funded by Soros in the New York Times starting November 4th. And there are literally dozens of articles saying, I'm insane, nothing's coming November 4th. What is going on with these people?
Yeah, you've been Paul Revere on this. You have been predicting this now literally for months based on your own sources. I think it's a hysteria. Because in middle America, in flyover country, Donald Trump is very popular. I was in Washington yesterday. I was able to see some proprietary polling taken by the Republican National Committee. And it showed that if the election were run again tomorrow, Alex, Donald Trump would win again. He's actually marginally more popular than he was on Election Day. The erosion is in the support for Hillary Clinton. 4 out of 10 Clinton supporters now say that they're not sure they would vote for her again. This, of course, is so against type, so against the mainstream media narrative that they're going out of their minds.
It's emerging. We just went over the evidence earlier. I'm going to do a special report tonight on this. Is going to air during the War Room with Owen Schroyer and yourself. Just collating all the evidence. There's so much that Papadopoulos was a plant from the beginning by the deep state, by Mueller, wearing wires as early as July. And even with that, it's in the indictment how he kept trying to steer them into Russia meetings and they didn't bite. I mean, if you really get into the evidence, their indictment is the evidence that Trump did nothing.
Well, and in fact, his whole pedigree is as a neocon. As he goes from a series of think tanks, all of which, like the Jamestown Institute, the Hudson Institute, all of them, you know, virulently anti-Russia. And then suddenly, overnight, who's advocating meetings with the Russians at the highest level? But this guy, Papadopoulos. I am told that Manafort spotted him early.
Oh, he just looks like a worm.
Yeah, no, and he was evidently wearing a wire for at least 3 months.
Let me ask this: what is the Trump campaign doing with people that look like that? I mean, I would run from that guy.
Well, it's important to understand.
I mean, he looks like a ne'er-do-well.
He does look a little strange, doesn't he? Well, you know how those Greeks are. Look at that. Wow.
Oh, we love Greeks.
Yes, we do.
Greeks, I know, are good looking. That guy isn't good looking.
Spiro Agnew is the one I was thinking of.
He looks like a little jihadi or something.
He does look strange. I guess the point here is that in a presidential campaign, when the media is beating on you for having, you know, no issue operation, no heft, you put together these largely paper, honorific advisory panels, and they can have 100 people on them. But in this case, the group that Papadopoulos belonged to met one time. I don't believe they ever met with the candidate. The guy had no authority. He wasn't on the payroll. He didn't even have a credential, you know, a security pass to get into the headquarters, which in a general election is kind of tightly controlled. So he is a marginal player, to put it mildly. I think that Sarah Huckabee nailed this particularly. To try to now depict him as some high-level Trump operative is just disingenuous.
And expanding on this is all they've got. And then Trump saying, do something. You've got them completely involved with Russia, uranium one. John Podesta is now making almost daily tweets saying, Alex Jones, eat SH you-know-what.
Yes.
You know, you're going to get it. I mean,
which is a threat. But strangely enough, Podesta hasn't been banned on Twitter. You see, I've been banned over allegedly threatening people.
I was about to say, the word is you are now going to sue.
Oh, there's no question. I went to Washington yesterday to meet with a number of...
And that's Twitter.
But, and I may be joined in this by others, because our friend Milo has also been...
and you know, I've been going around to the lawyers. We have good cases. I just haven't taken the leap yet on what who I need to sue just to defend free speech.
But it's amazing that, you know, Keith Olbermann can threaten to burn my house down with me in it, but he's still on Twitter. John Podesta can threaten you, Alex, but he's still on Twitter. Talk about a liberal double standard. Look, I'm going to own
Why do you
Twitter.
think Podesta's making all these horrible statements just suddenly? He hardly ever tweets, and now why is he so angry at me?
It's hard to say. I think he understands that his vulnerability is going to come to the fore here. And he keeps trying to divert to Pizzagate. Sorry, I've never written, spoken, said anything whatsoever about Pizzagate. I think we concluded it was a false flag.
And we're the ones that pointed out it was a false flag, so they're trying to blame me as the progenitor of it.
But just because Pizzagate turns out to be bogus doesn't mean that the entire issue of pedophilia is false.
And notice that's exploded onto the scene with Hollywood.
Extraordinary.
What do you make of this timing? The NFL, Hollywood, it's all literally collapsing. I don't think there's even forces behind the scenes doing it. I just think America's waking up. They're angry. They're not asleep anymore, and they're speaking out.
Very interestingly that, you know, I came on the War Room and I laid out a scenario by which the president should demand that Jeff Sessions appoint a special counsel to look into Uranium One. This would have the net effect of putting Mr. Mueller, Mr. Comey, Mr. McCabe, the Associate Director of the FBI, and Rod Rosenstein, the de facto Attorney General of the United States.
In the hot seat where they deserve to be.
Right. Immediately, a piece on Vanity Fair yesterday, headline, Why Roger Stone's Plan Won't Work. A piece on Raw Story, the worst of the worst fake news left-wing seats. Why Roger Stone's plan is falling apart. You just told us what you fear. You fear this move by Donald Trump. I think General Kelly signaled it yesterday in his great interview with Laura Ingraham. I think the president revealed it in his tweet saying, why isn't the focus on crooked Hillary? This is the plan that turns the tables on the inquisitors.
And by the way, if we weren't over the target, the old World War II saying for bombardiers, we wouldn't be under massive attack. I'm not ready to tell folks about it yet, but you're here for us to meet, strategize. You're being sued by the law firm of Obama.
Yeah.
He admits he put him up to it. I have Al Gore. I'm not ready to get to it. Al Gore is directly... I don't want to say it yet. I'm actually proud. I mean, wait till I tell you about this. I just learned about it last night. I mean, can you believe it? Al Gore, man, he's got a lot of nerve.
And what's the allegation? What is he upset at you about?
I'll tell you about it later. I'm not sure the lawyers don't want us to go public with it yet.
Well, I've been up against Al Gore before.
This will be on the march. The empire is on the run.
Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. we're live, and we've launched the War Room with Owen Schroyer, Roger Stone, and others, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. And, of course, we have David Knight with the real news and analysis of what's happening in our world every weekday morning, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I'm going to launch a lot of other shows. I'm hiring more people, more producers, more camera operators, more researchers, more journalists. It takes money to do that, and it takes money to battle like he's doing, sued by Obama, saying he's a Russian agent, no proof, and then all this other stuff behind the scenes I'm not at liberty to tell you about yet, but I will, because they know our metrics, folks, despite the fact that they've tried to censor us and block InfoWars and News Wars, despite the fact they've tried to shut us down and try to get criminal investigations going on myself, Matt Drudge, and others. Those have all been dropped because there's nothing there. No Russian collusion, no connections. Federal Elections Commission, led by Democrats, wanted us criminally indicted. That's all gone away because it's like trying to indict me for being the tooth fairy. It's just not true. But seriously, if you'll just commit to spread articles and videos in the war, it's exciting, on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Hey, this man right here has just been banned off Twitter because he was having such an effect. They admit they've done it. So but they can't ban all of you, and they can't stop you from making other accounts. It's a information war. They want to kick us off these big platforms that they act like are open to the public, but now they're on the hot seat. So please go to InfoWarsStore.com. We've got over 60 great T-shirts. Many of them are only run for a month or a few months, or limited edition. A bunch of the limited edition shirts are about to be gone forever. InfoWarsStore.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we've got new specials on DNA Force, 25% off, even though it's been sold out for more than 3.5 months. The sales that are ending today are BioTrue Selenium, 40% off. Survival Shield X2, these are the biggest specials ever. 40% off. Secret 12, 40% off. Supermel Vitality, 30% off. And Anthroplex, 50% off. InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsLife.com. Or 888-253-3139. Biome Defense is now back in stock. But whatever you do, sign up for auto ship and an additional 10% off. That way you get savings. Everything I do is about symbiosis, symbiotic, win-win, non-zero sum game. Everything I do is about a win-win. It's far beyond superstition. I'm obsessed with it. Okay, and so I'm not like somebody like Harvey Weinstein that likes to torture women while he rapes them. I mean, I like my wife to have as good a time as I'm having. That's my enjoyment. I'm not trying to get graphic here. The point is that that's how Trump is too. We want prosperity. We want to win. But to do that, you've got to energize us. We energize you. The enemy knows where the resistance is coming from. They know we're the winning globally. InfoWars is just the reboot of Americana. I didn't invent it. I just brought it back. You brought it back. All over the world, baby, InfoWars. We're leading the populist revolution. America, 1776 worldwide is happening. Something I've been saying for 10 years. It's here. We're winning in the military, law enforcement, the bureaucracy. We're taking the government back, and it's happening, and the economy's turning back on. So commit today to financially support us. Get products you need. It's symbiotic. It's a win-win, 360 win. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. DNA Force is back. Okay, Roger, I'm ranting. I'm just so excited here. But again, you're saying I've been predicting this for 6 months. The SJWs, the Antifa, the communist groups have been saying, we're going to launch our revolution November 4th. And many of them say, we're going to kill cops. We're going to kill talk show hosts. My security folks don't want me talking about the things that go on. But the issue is they're saying hashtag kill Republicans on TV, Democratic strategists. They're celebrating Scalise getting shot. Wolf Blitzer had a guest on saying this guy was basically a hero. He wasn't a bad guy shooting Scalise and the other people. I mean, they mean business, folks. They don't just attack me and Roger when we walk down the street in San Francisco or Austin. Okay, they mean business. They want to bully us back into submission. And then they say, in articles every day in the last 2 weeks, Jones is insane and claims there's some November 4th movement coming. Here it is, full page, front section, New York Times. That cost $100,000, boys and girls, funded by George Soros at the bottom. Now, what does that sound like to you, Roger Stone?
Well, and it's not coincidental that Tom Steyer is up on CNN with these ubiquitous 30-second TV spots attacking the president. He's mentally unbalanced. He's insane. We can't have a man like this with his finger on the nuclear button. You see the newspaper ad.
They say we're causing a chain reaction that will drive Trump from power. They say the detonation begins November 4th.
Yeah, so these are connected events. In other words, as one who has extensive experience in political advertising, I can tell you the newspaper ads, the television ads, these are all meant for a symbiotic, a synergistic effect.
A coordination.
To whip up the crazies.
A chain reaction.
Exactly, to whip up the radicals. And we're going to talk about this on the War Room this afternoon. I think the establishment has the Mueller strategy. They laid it out for us this week. The weak case.
And the indictments are building towards November 4th.
Right, exactly. And then we're talking about their fallback plan, a 25th Amendment plan to unhorse our president using that constitutional rubric. We're going to be shedding light on this all week here at InfoWars because we have incredible inside information.
And that's why you're here for this week, because we knew the main enemy assault of their new offensive starts November 4th. And folks, they've even sent me letters saying surrender by November 4th. The lawyers are looking at me going public with this tomorrow. I'm going to show you this as soon as we get off air.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, look, I think they have a game plan. So
guys, ask David to bring over that thing from Gore, please.
Well, we're going to lay this out for the Info Warriors. Plan A is the Mueller takedown. If that doesn't work, Plan B is the 25th Amendment takedown, which I think is going to be in conjunction with this overall Soros-Steyer-funded media campaign.
Oh, they admit it.
So these are interlocking pieces of a.
And by the way, Soros claims he spends $500 million a year on average in off-election years, sometimes $800 million in election year. What does it mean that he's put $18 billion in to this foundation and says he intends to spend it just the next few years overthrowing Russia and the U.S.? I mean, why is he walking around?
Last night, I was with a very high-level Republican lobbyist with very, very close ties to the Bush family and to Jeb Bush specifically. He had just had lunch with Jeb, and Jeb told him confidently, Trump will be gone by December. Trump will be gone by December. What does that tell you?
Oh, my God, we should have started the whole show with that. In fact, take that clip right there. No, start over, and we're going to put that right at the front of this interview. This is so incredible. Roger, folks, never bluffs. He's got the intel. So Jeb Bush is saying
Trump will be gone by December. What is he talking about? That's what he's talking about. These ads, these TV spots, in a synergistic effort with a 25th Amendment takedown of the president. Their claim is going to be, well, he's unbalanced. He's non-compos mentis. He can no longer do the job. This is the overall establishment plot. First, they try the Mueller assault. If that doesn't work, they try the 25th Amendment assault backed by their street demonstrations, backed by the rowdies on the street demanding Donald Trump's removal.
So the whole concerted next wave, their biggest push, comes this November 4th, and they are going to operate on every level: lawsuits, physical attacks, cop killing, out of the Soros-funded groups. I mean, they think we're all, what's crazy is they think the threats make us roll over when all it does is energize us. Where's their blind spot?
Well, it's interesting. I would have taken the Jeb report with a bit of a grain of salt, but having done the rounds in Washington yesterday, I also met with another Republican lobbyist.
Hold on, stay there and recap it. When we come back, give us the new info. This is incredible. Roger, that's why I was saying I come in here. Hey, we haven't had time to talk first. Tell folks whatever the biggest news is, tell us up front. That's what we always do at InfoWars. We give you the news a year before anybody else does, and everybody knows it, and that's why they hate us. So get tomorrow's news today at Infowars.com. Stay with us. Roger Stone just landed an hour ago here in Austin from D.C. with high-level meetings with top advisors to the Bushes, the Clintons, you name it. And that's why they fear him. He's got the contacts, including the president. He has just laid out during this break to me really serious info that dovetails with their plan. George Soros has bought a full-page ad for Antifa calling for the overthrow of Trump beginning November 4th. They're all coordinating it. Roger Stone, please give people an intelligence report on what you just told me.
Well, Alex, I was in Washington for the purpose of meeting with some of the most powerful and most knowledgeable telecommunications lawyers in the country in preparation for a lawsuit against Twitter. I heard only minutes ago that the official feed for the Netflix documentary, Stone Flick, Forget Me, Roger Stone, has now also been suspended. So I will own Twitter before this is over. There are First Amendment issues. There are antitrust issues.
Cautious interference.
But during the time I was in Washington, I never lose the opportunity to socialize, and I had a cocktail with a very prodigious Bush fundraiser, somebody with close personal relationships to George W., to George H.W., and to Jeb. And he told me that he had seen Jeb recently when the topic of Trump came up.
You said that day at lunch.
Yeah, at a lunch. He said, Jeb said confidently, Trump will be gone by December. Now, I would normally take that with a grain of salt. Later in the evening, I saw a very prominent Republican lobbyist who had just been with a major rhino Republican senator who shall remain nameless. And ironically, when the subject of Trump came up, he also said, don't worry about him. He'll be gone by December. Now I see these ads. I've seen the Tom Steyer TV ad, Steyer being a kind of a junior Soros. By the way, he's lost every election he's ever touched. Now you bring this in, these full-page newspaper ads, and folks, this ain't cheap. The full page of the New York Times, that's 100K plus, depending on what editions it ran in. And I see the synergy of their political strategy. They are going to run a street revolution against Trump, a revolt. At the same time,
That's the AstroTurf.
it's the 25th Amendment strategy. So, plan A, the Mueller takedown. Not looking very good right now because Mueller laid out his cards and they are weak indeed. If they were counting on Manafort to roll over, clearly they were. They dumped these charges on him. I can report to the InfoWarriors right now, Manafort will plead not guilty and he will fight to the death. He is not going to bear false witness against the President of the United States. He is not going to make up lies about Donald Trump and the Russians to please Bob Mueller. He is a fighter and he will go down fighting if he has to. But there is zero chance that they will break his spirit or break his commitment to making America great again and taking on the globalists. So I think the Mueller plan is going to fail. That moves us to the 25th Amendment plan, Alex. And this week here at InfoWars, we're going to lay out who exactly the plotters are and what their scheme is to remove the president. They seek to do in the courts and through the Constitution in a bogus proceeding what they could not do at the ballot box.
Absolutely. This is their biggest assault yet. But let's remember, they failed trying to steal the nomination. They did steal it from Sanders. They failed to then keep him from getting the final nomination at the convention in Cleveland that you and I attended, and the rest of the crew. And then they failed to get the faithless electors to stop him from being seated at the Electoral College. They have failed. And now Russiagate completely turns around, just as you said a year and a half ago. Everything they accused Trump of, and you and I of, how asinine, they have done.
No, they've got the worst possible perfect storm between Uranium One and the revelations about fusion GPS and the ties first revealed here at InfoWars to the Bush-Rubio Republican money man Paul Singer and his henchman Dan Senor, and then passed that ball on to Hillary Clinton, as the president noted today in a tweet. Up to $13 million now spent on this bogus narrative accusing the president of sexual indiscretions. Completely false, completely made up. They are in retreat. They see the pieces coming together for their indictment. And therefore, the guy we really have to count on, the guy who I think is a hero, who I've known for many years and somebody of extraordinary integrity, is Senator Chuck Grassley. He is going to bust Uranium One wide open. And in my view, it is essential to have both Mueller and Rosenstein in the hot seat answering questions under oath.
And that's why they're saying your plan is ridiculous, because they know the president listens on pardons, you name it. And you've been telling him all along what was going to happen. It's happened just as you said it would. How much I could say here, but the president's got to know you've been dead on.
Well, I was heartened by the fact that General Kelly, in this terrific interview with Laura Ingraham, laid out the need for a special prosecutor on Uranium One.
Is Kelly not suddenly getting a lot better?
Well, I think
and notice the left turned on him now.
The left has turned on him. He clearly has figured out that the way to stay on his job is to go to the wall for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a man who rewards and appreciates loyalty. And whether it is General Kelly taking on the whack job congresswoman from Florida with her cowboy hats, or whether it is him pointing out that we need a special prosecutor. Here's the linchpin, though, Alex. What will Jeff Sessions do? When the president...
He's the weak link.
It appears that way. When the president orders him, this isn't a suggestion, Jeff.
And the president's on TV saying, do something. They're in bed with the Russians.
Exactly. So it does not, it would not shock me if Jeff Sessions has to go. He either got to follow orders and appoint a real special prosecutor, someone like Mike McCasey, or someone like...
Well, Trey Gowdy's already said he wouldn't do it.
Andrew McCarthy. Judge Andrew Napolitano.
He'd be great.
Any of them are more than capable of doing this job. We need a real, fearless, honest prosecutor.
Well, let's boil it down. We're in a mob war between a group that wants to restore the republic and not have us sell the country out, and a group that thinks they own the country. What about the wild card, though, of Trump saying, Don't bring people in on these cultural enrichment visas. That's actually what they're called, folks. That Chuck Schumer and Obama put through 7 years ago. And then almost all the terror attacks we see are from the, quote, refugees or cultural enrichment from the very countries Trump is trying to block people unvetted, where, folks, in Sudan or in Somalia, an imam gives you a passport who lets you cross a border and then fly out on, say, a Kenyan Airways. They don't even have airports that work. Trump's saying he bans 7 countries. These are countries that don't have running water. We have no idea who's getting on the damn planes. He better block them.
I wonder if the people killed in Times Square feel culturally enriched today.
I wonder if there's going to be a 7-day waiting period like we had with the old Brady law on rental trucks. Because, if they'd have had just a waiting period, because, the New York Times says right here, the truck did it. Do you know that it's like Christine, the Stephen King movie, or Maximum Overdrive, where the cars come alive and kill you? Right here, Autobots transform and murder. Mile-long Manhattan truck attack kills 8. I knew it was Megatron.
The truck had no driver, evidently. Extraordinary. Extraordinary. Did he not yell Ali Akbar just before the attack? I've seen that in several media reports. Why won't they call the truth? Why won't they point out that this is Islamic terrorism at its worst?
And again, listeners know this. I only generally plug once an hour over the years because that could fund us, and we grew symbiotically, organically to the level we needed. Now's the main attack. Now's the war bonds. You spend money with globalists, it's trading with the enemy. You buy products at InfoWarsStore.com. It is an act of total resistance to the globalists and Soros. And for his billions, millions can counter that. But we need millions, because I sell high-quality products at such low prices that I argue with some of my crew that are in marketing. I think super low prices are the way to go. Then people just buy more and we make more. I'm right, kind of, but sometimes not. Because then sometimes things are bestsellers, sometimes they're not. I need folks to go to InfoWarsStore.com and get one of 60, 70 T-shirts to spread the word, meet like-minded folks. I need you to sign up for AutoShip to get great products like DNA Force and great probiotics like Biome Defense and Brain Force Plus and a bunch of specials that end today. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. One of my biggest stressors is trying to raise money to hire more crew to battle harder and fending off enemy attacks. But if you flood us with cash, it absolutely takes weight off us to spend time in information warfare. So I'm going to say it now. You want us to fight? Energize us. Flood me with greenbacks, and I commit I'll go to the death. But I need the money. That's how I wage war. Flood us with money now.